Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to be going over the Kuat Transfer V2 bike rack here on a 2022 Toyota Avalon. So this is what our bike rack looks like installed on our Avalon here. Now the rear view camera is probably going to be obstructed, but that's going to be the case for pretty much any bike rack you have. So we're really not going to have too much functionality there, but with our back glass here, we should be able to see mostly out of that along with our side mirror, so we can still remain safe on the road. We're just going to be forgoing some of the convenience features such as our rear view camera. So the Transfer is known as a platform style bike racks, and if you've looked at bike racks, you'll know that there's two styles, hanging and platform. So the hanging bike racks are a little bit lighter weight, so they're easier to get on and off the vehicle, and they're a little bit more cost effective in the platform style. However, the platform style are great because number one, they're very easy to load your bikes up and onto. The Transfer in particular here, you can actually walk right up to your rack there, so you don't have to lift much over at all. You just have to lift up above the cradles here, and you can actually just walk in. So it's very easy to get your bikes on and off. And something with the platform style racks is they usually have a little bit higher weight capacity than those hanging style. So if you guys have heavier bikes, you're definitely going to want to go with the platform style. The Transfer here is a great option. So the Transfer here is available in a couple different configurations. For the 1¼ inch hitch, we can choose from either the single bike carrier with an add-on or just go straight to the 2-bike rack. Now, in regards to capacity, that's kind of important for a bike rack. You're going to be limited to 40 pounds for each of these cradles. A lot of people ask us if they can carry a heavier bike if there's only one. Unfortunately not, because the weight capacity of each cradle is 40 pounds. And also, when you're only having one bike on here, you want to make sure it's closest to the vehicle. So within the platform bike rack category, this is actually known as a wheel mount type. Now the wheel mount type are going to be great if you have those carbon fiber frame bikes, those really expensive bike frames. You won't necessarily want something putting downward pressure on there. So in which case you would want to go with a wheel mount. However, there is one type of bike that the wheel mount won't work with, and that's if you have any fenders on your bike. So if you have fenders, you'll have to go with a frame mount. So we've arrived at the trails, or we've arrived at our destination. We're ready to get our bike off. This is super easy. We're going to start with the strap here at the rear, press the button, pull the strap out, set it to the side here. And now we want to place one hand on the top tube of our bike here. This is pretty important because once we undo this next mechanism, our bike could fall. So make sure you have a nice strong hold on it. Press this button here, lift up, tilt down, and now we can just lift our bike up and off. So once we have the bikes off, we can take a closer look at the cradles. And the front cradle here is really unique because there's all these little different channels in here, and that's to better accommodate different tire sizes on your bikes. You can see we have this real narrow one here for your road bikes, and then we have two bigger steps here for your larger bikes. The cradles themselves can actually accommodate the fat tire bikes, but up to 5 inches. However, you will need an adapter kit if your tires are over 3 inches because the straps are not long enough here at the rear. So here's the straps we were talking about, and something else I like is this actually pivots for your wheelbase, and this rack here will accommodate a wheelbase up to 50 inches. So you don't need to do any disassembly or anything for the longer wheelbase bikes. This is simply going to adjust to that on the fly. So something else that is great about a platform style rack is that you can actually, in most cases, tilt the rack away from the vehicle for hatch and trunk access with the bike still installed. This particular rack here, it's got a nice little lever there. You just press with your foot. You can see the rack tilts back. And now we are easily able to get into our trunk. So a quick measurement for you guys here that's going to help you, especially if you're parking in a garage or a tight parking space and you just want to know how much overall length you're adding to your vehicle with the rack installed and extended out. If we just measure from the back bumper there, you're looking at about 33 inches to the end of here. So if you guys are going to be using your bikes frequently and you don't want to worry about taking the rack on and off the vehicle, finding a place to store it, this rack has a great feature because you can actually tilt it away from the vehicle, or tilt it towards the vehicle rather, for a much more compact storage. We're just going to press down a little lever that we showed you earlier, and then it's going to tilt up and lock into place. And as you can see here, we have a much more compact design. And now with the rack folded up against the vehicle, it has a much smaller footprint. If we measure out from the end of the bumper, you're looking at about 10.5 inches there to this little cross member here. If we want to go all the way down there, you're looking at about right around a foot. So a great feature that our bike rack has is that we offer security of both our bikes. You can lock the bikes to the rack using a cable lock that's provided. Here's a lock core for that. And there's also a lock which secures the rack to the vehicle, and both of those locks are key to like there, so they're both going to use the same key. A couple other things you're going to get with your bike rack is, number one, we have an adapter. So if you have another vehicle with a larger 2-inch hitch receiver, you can still use this rack. You just have to install the adapter. And at the front of our vehicle, we're also going to have a built-in anti-rattle device here, which is this bolt. You have to use the security key that comes in your kit to tighten it. And then once you tighten that down, that's going to further secure the shank inside the receiver tube. It's basically going to pin that in there. And what this does is it's going to cut down on movement of your bikes in the rack, so you're going to keep them more secure. If I go ahead and just give a good shake now on the bike rack, you can see there's no movement inside the receiver tube whatsoever. It's nice and solid there. I'm actually moving the entire vehicle. And that's going to do it today for our look at the Kuat Transfer V2 bike rack here on our 2022 Toyota Avalon.